Hi there, friends, and thanks for joining us. I'm Josh.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are the Hiking Fools, guiding you through the trails of Glacier National Park. Today, we're off trail a little bit. This is part 2 of the episode that we're talking about Many Glacier Hotel. And it's such a rich history. It's a magnificent place, and you can still experience it today. It's in the Many Glacier Valley. It's just a spectacle, awe-inspiring spectacle. But we were talking a lot about the history and the construction and some fun features about it. But we're going to get into even more specifics, some of the people that are around, some of the full seasonal adventures that you can have, and of course, a little bit more detail about some of the hikes. So we're going to dig in right away. Sarah, where did we leave off?
Well, I just want to say that there's a lot of stories out there about people who have worked at Many Glacier Hotel, and I can't think of anyone else but Ray Kinley. He worked in the park for a long time, for 55 seasons.
Hold on.
What?
55 seasons?
Yes.
Okay.
And so he has a lot to say, and you can look him up and read some of his personal stories, but the one that sticks out to me the most is about Stagger Alley. And
yes. Stagger Alley. So it's somewhat self-explanatory, but what are the details?
So when you're on site at Many Glacier, they still have it, but there's a lot of different things that you can do there. You got the boats, you can, go for a hike, you can look at, go on ranger-led hikes and listen to programs there, but the Wranglers. So the Wranglers are located just at the parking area at the trailhead near Cracker Lake. And back then there were Wranglers too. And there was a bar at the bottom of the hotel. And after they would get paid.
This is great. We're going back to last episode. There's a bar and a swimming pool. And don't forget the mountains and the grizzly bears that are around. Those are neat to see too.
Well, the Wranglers, after they would get paid, they would come down to the bar. There's plenty to do there if you want. But, some people want some of that style, I suppose, even when you're in the backcountry. So they would end their shift and they would go down there and they would have some fun, but sometimes they would drink just a little bit too much. And when you visit Many Glacier Hotel, what's down there now is the gift shop. There's a little store down there, but there's a hallway that leads to more rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
the annex area.
That was Stagger Alley. And so that was an exit point for them. They were like, I don't want to walk upstairs, those, twisty stairs back up. I can't quite do that to exit the hotel at the normal front doors. So they would stagger their way down this hallway and they would make a bunch of noise and they would, run into walls and doors and they would wake guests, with loud talking and so to speak. So it got named Stagger Alley.
Well, it was also some of the history of that too. Ultimately it ended up sort of shifting, mm-hmm. And even if you weren't the Wrangler who had been at the bar, you were, it was a little bit staggering as well, because it was uneven ground.
Yes, and now that you mention that, there's been several different times this hotel has had to be renovated. Mm-hmm. It was built so long ago, like naturally, especially where it was built. I mean, where Many Glacier there's a ton of harsh weather and winters. And
the ground is shifting,
mm-hmm.
and it's what a story. It's like because they needed it was falling into the lake essentially. They had to redo the foundation, literally cabled up the hotel in this area and moved it onto the new foundation.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
It's amazing. I can't imagine, just pick up this hotel or this section of the hotel and move it. But, some of these, like you said, some of the remodeling and things are absolutely necessary to preserve these lodges.
There was several influential figures that stayed at the hotel as well. And that was kind of fun for them because, as you mentioned before, like the wait staff and the bellman and all that sort of thing, they would have performances every evening, and that attracted people to the hotel, not only the grandeur of the mountainscape, but, the entertainment and the luxury. So some of the figures were Franklin D. Roosevelt and John D. Rockefeller.
A couple of middle names. You guys, I read that Eleanor Roosevelt was pushed into the lake by her son. So that's the type of love you're looking for in a place like this.
They're just here having fun on vacation. John D. Rockefeller played a role in also the Great Northern Railroad, the money that went into all of that too, and we can go into that another
investment.
time. Yep. So many concessionaires have run this hotel, and the hotel's in the park. What we've landed on is Xanterra in 2013, and that's where we're at today with that. And they're doing a really good job in taking care of it and helped with, some of the updating, which there was a partial renovation in 2016. It was kind of a big deal, taking out those stairs that had become quite unsafe.
Yeah, the famous spiral staircase.
Yes. And I remember that. I remember when we worked in the park and visiting Many Glacier and seeing that and thinking, boy, I'm a little nervous to go up and down these stairs.
Yeah, a little rickety wrought iron spiral staircase. Up, I don't know how many feet, but from the bottom it looked formidable.
But today the hotel still remains its historic character, and it has about 205 guest rooms. It's got 2 suites, 7 family rooms. All the rooms have the beds that we had talked about before. It's got a dining room, a pretty fancy dining room. What is that one called? I can't quite remember what the dining room is called.
The ptarmigan dining room.
Yes, thank you.
And it's a lovely place. In fact, I think you've maybe heard that from me. I was scheduled to work in the Many Glacier Hotel, the ptarmigan dining room, in the summer that I moved out here. But I got here so early. I was very excited to be here. I got here in late May. And Many Glacier wasn't even open yet. I mean, this is one of the last hotels to open each season.
Yeah.
And so I was just stocking things in the gift shop over at Lake McDonald Lodge. And that is when Miss Sarah walked in, and she was scheduled to work there. And so after a few weeks, it was clear to me, after maybe a week, I guess, I stayed.
He moves quickly.
Follow your heart, they said. And I stayed in Lake McDonald area, and Sarah and I had the summer of a lifetime, and here we are today. But I do remember being excited reading about Many Glacier at that time, serving tables in that dining room. It was just going to be spectacular, but I made the path diversion. I took one and I chose the better.
It is pretty cool when you eat there. You have windows that face the lake, and they're huge windows.
Yeah, they took advantage in the construction of this. They took advantage of everything, able to enjoy it, and I'm glad they did. And there are some other. So speaking of that, you can have a fine dining experience, but there are at least 2 to 3 other places to grab some food in and around the hotel. If you just need a snack, or if you're heading out on a hike, or if you come back and you want something, you're a little dirty and tired, and you just want something, quick, you can do that too.
Yeah, the hotel itself, they offer, not only the dining room, but a Swiss-style lounge. They got a gift shop. They got a snack shop. But if you go just a mile down the road, you have Swiftcurrent Motor Inn, which is also owned and run by Xanterra. And they offer a fabulous restaurant there.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I can't tell you how many times we've gone off the trail and we're like, let's just get a burger in there.
Yeah.
And it's totally worth it. And it's good. And they've got, soft serve ice cream, and they've got a little gift shop there.
Yeah, walk in and grab a sandwich and a beer and enjoy the evening. And there's the campground is right there. And so there's a lot of places to stay here and enjoy Many Glacier. And the Swiftcurrent Motor Inn is right where a few of the trailheads.
Yeah, the Motor Inn, and they have cabins too. And you often, when you're there, you'll see people with spotting scopes facing Alton Mountain, that huge giant slab. Yes.
Always. You say, what do you see? Everybody's the chatter. What do you see up there? Oh, grizzly bear. Can I take a look? But it's almost every time somebody is standing in that parking lot looking up at the side of that mountain, watching at whatever distance a grizzly.
Probably the safest distance.
Yeah, it's a great place to see it.
I get so excited when someone has said that they've spotted something. It's either, usually bear or bighorn sheep. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so lots of places to recreate around here. And Sarah, we can talk, if you're interested, there are so many hikes that lead from the Many Glacier Valley, 5 major drainages, the Ptarmigan, Swiftcurrent, Iceberg, Grinnell, Cracker. And these hikes are some of the best in the park. You already mentioned that. Some of our favorites leave right from this area. And so the Many Glacier Valley is special. It's awe-inspiring. It's phenomenal. And we're going to talk a little bit more about it, and make sure near the end of this episode that you know exactly how and when you can experience this, that you have to get the most out of your trip. But we're going to take a short break. Stick with us, and we've got another segment, a final segment on the Many Glacier Hotel right after this.
As Josh and Sarah from Hiking Fools will tell you, a great hike starts with the right gear. And at Freedom Bank, we think great banking starts with the right team. From mobile check deposits to custom loan solutions, we're ready to help you succeed so you can spend more time on the trail and less time worrying about your money. Freedom Bank, big solutions, small town heart. Member FDIC.
Welcome back. As you know by now, we are the Hiking Fools. We hope that you joined us for both parts of this episode because there's so much to know and appreciate about the Many Glacier Hotel. If you haven't listened, go back and catch part 1. A lot about the construction and the origin of the place. And Sarah, we can make sure everybody knows how to get here and how to reserve and what they can enjoy and the hikes that surround the area. But I think, there's probably a little bit more to talk about in terms of the lodge.
So not only did some important people visit the lodge, but there were some films that occurred here. And I'm not going to touch too much on it, but...
Yeah, well, it's such a remarkable, picturesque place that, a couple of movie scenes.
Yes. Well, when we worked there, way back yonder, there was a rumor that The Shining was filmed there. The Shining was... Mm-hmm. And then we learned that it wasn't actually the beginning part of the movie, The Shining. There was a scene that was filmed in Glacier, but it was on the Going to the Sun Road, kind of an aerial view of them driving around the shores of St. Mary Lake.
I see. Well, put yourself there. It's not our cup of tea, but if you're interested in paranormal activity, I'm sure there are plenty of stories about that.
Yes, you can look that up too.
Historical lodge like this. A big place, and there's animal heads looking down on you.
If you believe in that sort of thing, the Winter Keepers have plenty of stories.
Ooh, that's right. I mentioned that Winter Keeper. This place needs to be maintained through the season.
Yes, there's a lot of snow that happens here, a lot of wind and drifting. So they need someone to stay here in one of those chalets that I talked about that are still right there by Swiftcurrent Falls. Yes, so they stay there, and once a week they need to walk the halls. There's more to it that I don't know everything about it, but I know that they need to walk the hotel and the halls and make sure that there's, no sort of breakage. I did hear that a bighorn sheep, I believe, crashed through the windows, and there was snow coming in and was in there walking around. So things happen in the winter. There's no one else around. So someone's got to be there to make sure the snow doesn't build up on the roof and, maintain it in various different ways.
Very remote. And now wouldn't that be an interesting person to talk to and maybe check out a future episode if we talk to one of the winter keepers of the Many Glacier Hotel. And this is to mention, it's a year-round place to kind of explore too. I know a lot about and read the books, Doug Chadwick and team have explored this area, conducted wolverine research studies. You can cross-country ski, right? You get someplace around the road as far as you can go, as you mentioned, with the drifting and the snow, but you can cross-country ski.
Yeah, the road eventually does close for the winter at a certain point, but if the snow is plentiful, then you can cross-country ski. But as we mentioned before, the wind is always pretty gusty in there and sometimes drifting, and there's bare ground. But, I know plenty of people who have cross-country skied that road back into Many Glacier Hotel and viewed that. But you can the roads open, depending on weather and snow. We've driven back there in November. Everything's closed down, but, the peaks are covered in snow and the snow line's slowly dropping, and it's pretty beautiful.
Oh, yeah. You think it's impressive, in the summer season, stunning in the winter. These mountains are covered with the brilliant white snow.
Yeah, I just want to mention some of our favorite trails, and I think we've talked about many of these in past podcasts.
Yeah, for sure. Check out other shows to go into each one of these in more detail. But what are some of the hikes you're thinking of?
Yeah, in the order of my favorite, which, it doesn't have to be yours.
No, you're an authority on this. Let them know.
I love Grinnell Glacier. Not only do you get to see a glacier pretty close, but there's so much rich geology up here. We've mentioned the stromatolites and the Purcell Sill, and there's so much going on up where this glacier still sits, and it's slowly melting, so get up there while you can. But I would say that's my number one.
Grinnell Glacier, terrific. Yes, Swiftcurrent Pass or getting up to the lookout. You can go from this direction or up and over, as we describe in our other show. I love that. Swiftcurrent Pass, one of my favorite hikes of all time. Cracker Lake, we've talked about. A lot of history there with the mine and the remarkable, milky blue turquoise water of Cracker Lake. And Ptarmigan Tunnel, the passageway from one side of the park to the other. It's been
Iceberg
Lake. Oh, shoot.
Iceberg.
And then think about families. So we've talked a lot about our favorite hikes to do with children, and you can go Red Rock Falls, Apecuni Falls, and there's peaks to climb here if you're into peak bagging.
Well, and I would say any of these hikes we've mentioned, I mean, some of them are a little bit difficult. Obviously, if you're hiking up to a glacier, you're going to cover some elevation. And Iceberg Lake covers, a little bit less elevation. Ptarmigan's a little bit steeper, but start early. Take your time. You'll get there. Yeah. I would say that the Many Glacier Valley is pretty heavy with bear activity. So
absolutely. And a lot of times trails are even closed. So check out your postings.
Yeah.
Make sure you know what you're getting into. And Sarah, staying at the hotel is incredible because this is quite a trek from, let's say, the Flathead Valley.
Yeah, if you're coming from Kalispell, it's about 3 hours if you take Highway 2.
Yeah.
Around that way, or if you go up and over the going to the Sun Road.
So think about that. Yeah, plan at least 2.5 to 3 hours each direction. So there's 5 or 6 of your day. And we've talked about Grinnell Glaciers, say a 10-mile hike. That's 5 hours on average, probably. So you're talking a 10 to 12-hour day. And as we mentioned, pick up a snack. But in the summer, it's great around here in this area. I mean, it's light from like 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. You got like 16 hours of daylight.
Well, and take advantage of that early light because the parking lot at Many Glacier Hotel fills up really fast.
And all the trailheads too.
Yes. And if you're coming here to hike, that parking lot behind the hotel gets filled up by the Many Glacier Hotel guests.
Right.
So, come early. You can park. Swiftcurrent Motor Inn is the start of several different trails. So you can park there too. But camping, I would say that's pretty fabulous too. Probably my favorite campground in all of Glacier is Many Glacier Campground.
Yeah. And staying here, what I was trying to say is staying in this area gives you that huge advantage of spending most of your day hiking rather than traveling. And and hiking is not the only thing. I mean, we enjoy the hiking, but there are scenic narrated boat tours and cruises, as you mentioned.
Yeah, the jammer buses, they leave from here too.
Absolutely.
Ranger-led programs. There's a lot going on. I mean, you could spend a good week here and not see everything, I would say. What we have mentioned before is that you can see a ton of wildlife, and we have a lot of personal stories. So just even driving in along Lake Sherburne, we've seen grizzly bear along there. We've seen black bear coming up to the base of Alton, which is before you make your left-hand turn into Many Glacier Hotel. We've had encounters of moose and grizzly bear, the Grinnell Glacier Trail. The last couple of years, there's been a sow grizzly with a couple of cubs that have been hanging around. Hasn't caused any conflict at all, but we passed that. I remember when we were working at Lake McDonald and we hiked over there, your parents were visiting and my sister was visiting, and we took them on that hike and we got up to the glacier, and on the way down, we encountered a moose. It was a female, and she was like, "This is my trail," and we had nowhere to go. And so we did what we were supposed to. We backed away. We got out our bear spray. We gave her plenty of room, and there were other hikers, and we kind of grouped together, and she kind of stepped off the trail. It was either a straight down on one side or straight up.
Yeah.
Or on Mount Grinnell.
So tall. Moose are so tall, so huge. You don't expect it, but man, when you're standing next to them, which we have, unfortunately, sometimes, or it's always neat to see something. And Sarah, I think I can say this: we can almost guarantee you'll see wildlife in the Many Glacier Valley.
There's been very few times we've taken family who are visiting over there that we've been skunked and not seen anything. Right. But if you've got yourself out there on the trail, enjoying this valley, you're almost guaranteed to see something. Absolutely. So make sure you're very bear aware. I remember coming out of Iceberg Lake and we came across a huge bull moose that was right on the trail. In fact, these guys don't make a ton of noise.
Yeah.
It's amazing. This moose, huge bull moose, was maybe 15 feet off the trail, and the only reason we knew it was there is because somebody saw it cross the trail just before we got there, and we could see it in the brush. But I'm standing there, I'm like, I can barely see this because the vegetation is so thick, and I don't even hear it. I mean, it's eating and it's browsing and it's doing, it's being a moose. Right. But it was just pretty incredible.
There it was.
I love seeing wildlife. I could go on and on.
Well, right. And don't forget weather. I mean, I'll prepare for that too.
Yeah.
We've had hail, we've had big rainstorms, and somehow the Many Glacier Valley attracts and absorbs really the storms that come over the Continental Divide.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just on the other side is the Garden Wall.
Yeah. So it comes out of nowhere. So be ready, bear aware, be ready for anything in terms of weather. If you stay at the hotel, you've got a terrific opportunity to hike because you're right there in like a hiker's paradise of Glacier National Park. And don't forget, reserve well in advance, up to a year at the glaciernationalparklodges.com. There are campgrounds and some overflow cabins and the Swiftcurrent Motor Inn if you don't get right in the hotel. And it's open early June through late September, usually is the season. So prepare and enjoy. Don't forget to check out our Instagram page at HikingFoolsMT to see some great photos from our recent adventures. Tune in next time, check out more episodes online, and remember to follow us on Spotify, YouTube, or Apple Podcasts. I'm Josh.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are the Hiking Fools, encouraging you to always go